space race. As World War II ended, the US and the Soviet captured Germans' rocket engineers and rocket technology. In 1955, both countries announced that they will be launching the satellite to the orbit. The Soviet-Russian took the lead by putting a successful satellite into the orbit in 1957. The US launched their first successful satellite into the orbit 4 months after the Soviet Union in 1958. Throughout the space race, Soviet Union had the first man traveled in space by a spacecraft in 1961 and successfully came back down to Earth. Again, the US launched their men to space 3 weeks after USSR. The American was embarrassed behind the Soviet Union. In the 25th of May 1961, President JFK was making a bold claim that America will be the first to put a man on the moon and will be happening before the decade. Therefore the Apollo program was launched. In 1962, America is the first to orbit Earth. Later come by in 1963, the Soviet Union have the first women to travel into space. The first American to walk in space in 1965, but actually, the Soviet Union the Spacewalk a few months before the American. In 1966, there was a time where the two spacecraft from the Soviet and the US were docked together. The famous moon landing project, the Apollo 11 feat, was launched in the 16th of July 1969. It was not smooth sail. The module Eagle had to be landed manually. On the 20th of July 1969, the Eagle have successfully landed onto the moon's surface. The American have become the first to send men to the moon successfully and coming back. A famous quote was said by an astronaut.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
American has won the space race. However, the project was dying down. In 1975, the Soviet and US relation has improved by the Apollo-Soyuz test project, where the Americans and Soviets dock and exchange the first international handshake in space through the open hatch of the Soyuz and Apollo. Even though there is a lot of first achievement, the historic handshake moment is all of the space race. They were docked for 2 days. Astronauts from 2 countries were having a good time. They ate together, talking in 2 different languages, exchanged flags and gifts like tree seeds which were later planted in the 2 countries. It shows that so-called the space race were ended up being friends with 2 countries. So therefore, it ended up being an extraordinary event in part of our history.